Mr. Clayton, thank you so much for joining us here on the process. I'm very excited.
Thank you for having me.
For your gems. But before we get to that point, I want to know where did this journey of yours start? Specifically into the PR.
PR side, well, I've been in media for about, I would say, 15 years now. I studied journalism, so that was the first thing that I did. And once I obtained my national diploma in Port Elizabeth, because I'm from PE, I found out that I didn't want to work big, do a lot in entertainment scene, even though I loved PE. It's where all my family's were. So I moved to Cape Town and I pursued entertainment journalism. And after about 7.5 years, I decided I needed a bit of a change, and PR found me, as I say, through all the meetings and the connections and all the parties and interviews. It's all about building your network. So out of that notion, I started engaging with celebrities, and they were like, everybody at the radio stations and the various media places. Can't you hook us up with an interview? So as a result, that's how PR found me. Yeah.
So for us, normal people, what is PR?
In essence, I would call it the sort of strategic name for it is reputation management. But in essence, it's basically I am acting as an agent or as a medium and a link between the actual journalist and the client. Okay. So my prerogative is to make sure that my clients' projects, their brands, their whatever the objective is that needs to require getting attention from and getting it out into the public space, I must make sure that that happens through the use of getting it onto interviews through the media platforms such as radio, online or TV. Obviously there's a different form of media and PR which is called social media PR. So it's also managing and obtaining a strategy and devising that on how they can get their content spread out to more audience members. And then obviously there's a thing with events where you have to get the right celebrities, the right bloggers, the right influencers and the right media to come and attend the event that you're hosting, be it a launch or a product launch or something, or a theatre launch. And that way, it's all about getting engagement through the use of media and then putting the word out there on their platform so that the rest of the world can get access to information about my clients.
Wow. So, taking it back, who was your first major client?
Wow, from a corporate perspective, it was Woolworths. I was very much wet under the ears and nose, and I, because of my links with celebrities, because I started out with the whole fascination with celebrities from the young age of 13. So by the time I studied journalism, that's where the love of entertainment journalism came in. So with Woolworths, they were looking for a media house to invite some celebrities to attend the events, because they'd only had a handful of celebrities attending the parts. So as you know, it's about relationships. So that's one of the first PR offerings I was working with Woolworths for in 2013. That was way back. One of the first individual clients I had was Leslie Ann Brunt, who people will know from Lucifer, the international TV series. So yeah, she was one of the very first ones I had.
So, with it, like in the South African context, like PR, is it a viable career to pursue?
It definitely is. I mean, there are different forms of PR: entertainment, financial PR, crisis PR, business PR. It just depends on what field you're heading into, and also geographically that makes a difference. I think in Cape Town we don't have as much big of an entertainment space if you compare it to Johannesburg, because more events and things happen much faster on that side. But I think as we've grown into the age where digital age has become much more part of our life now, you have to be based anywhere in the world. So you can have a location of being in Cape Town, but you need to think from a global perspective. So I think the trends these days is that lifestyle PR, which includes hospitality and tourism and fashion, as well as entertainment PR, are one of the big leads of PR that is basically what most agencies are getting involved in with clients these days. So I think there is a big scope for it. It all depends on your network. You're only as good as your last job or your last contact. So it's about getting the results done for clients. Yes.
Sure. So you mentioned something about celebs and Johannesburg and Cape Town. Like for you, what is the major differences in terms of, in your sector, PR? Because we know that Johannesburg is celebrity, like driven. Cape Town, yes, but not so much. Why is that?
It all depends on the lifestyle, I guess. I think, look, if you look at we are based more towards and targeted towards more European markets. So things like Hollywood films and the modeling world is a big major base here, and a lot of TV commercials. It's just how things are set up with the agencies. In the area of housing, particularly in Johannesburg and Pretoria, you have the TV networks based there. So a lot of the decisions are made much quicker, and there's more scope for briefs to go out much quicker there because everything is shot in that district.
Okay.
So as a result, it's much better to be based in the hub. So Johannesburg, in essence, would be the Los Angeles of South Africa, where all the TV studios are based, and Cape Town would, in essence, be the New York, where models are. Sort of, this is where the movies and the modeling sort of world is basically. But I think the big difference is that it's all about opportunity. Cape Town is much smaller compared to Johannesburg when it comes to opportunities and just population. So they cater for variety, whereas here there's a bit more limited scope in general. And ultimately, I think that's where the game is changing. I think it's opening up where you can be based in Cape Town, but you can have a lifestyle of traveling back and forth to any city in the world. Yeah.
When did the light bulb go for you? Where you were like, I need to do my own thing?
I would say in 2011. That was pretty much, it was out of form of survival because blogging and the whole social media game had just picked up at about that time, and there was not a way to make money of social media or blogging at the time, and I felt the most natural way of me dealing with people, which comes naturally to me, and just engaging with different brands is where I actually found more joy. Because writing about people was great because I just wanted to be a medium between telling someone's story, but by that time I'd interviewed Oprah. So for me that was always the pinnacle of my journalism career.
Just hold on. Who?
Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. So, you make me laugh. So because of that I felt it wasn't that it became boring, it's just I needed something different that I felt I would get much more joy, because I knew that after 7-8 years I'd already achieved the highest dream any journalist would want to aspire to, is to sit down with the queen of talk. And she was instrumental in my pursuing of journalism. So after that I was looking, what else am I going to embark on in the next decade of my life, and what is next for me? And PR became a natural choice. I didn't study PR, but I think PR and journalism crossover because it's in the communication space. But if you have the personality to deal with people, and also, you have to choose between not in the front line but at the back line, because your client becomes the front line, then it's something that you can engage in with, yes.
Okay, you were stunting on us like Oprah. So which other names?
In terms of interviewing, Wendy Williams. I've interviewed her at her studios in New York in 2016. Quite a few, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, cast of Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, the cast of E! Fashion Police, Joan Rivers, Juliana Rancic.
Okay, you can stop. You can stop. So, but with that, Clayton, what are some of your challenges that you face as a freelancer?
Well, at the end of the day, it's you've got to make sure that you are always on trend with your contacts, knowing what the trends of what's happening and what's hot, and also finding the niche of where people are looking for something that's different from what's already out there. So it can be tricky, especially when it comes to budgets and finances. Some people don't want to see PR as a full investment because you're not getting something tangible in return. That's why I said reputation management, because you're only as good as your last project. So you only see the results later on when you're engaging in a full year's campaign. You can't just see it in 1 month or 2 months. So my technical term I use is that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And over time you're always building on your craft and building on your brand. And ultimately, the more you are out there, the more people will grow as your brand grows. Yeah. So you'll gain your audiences that way.
What are some of the gaps that you see within the South African PR space?
We've obviously have a big influx of the influencer management that's come through, but I think sometimes we only focus on the big ones that have a lot of followings. There's micro influencers that are coming up, and also social media PR itself. Digital is the way forward. I think if more PR is targeted towards digital platforms, that's where you could really get a lot of money, but also a lot of benefit for clients. And I think most people use the traditional ways of newspapers, which is still like a big deal and pivotal, but spending your money on digitally is the way to go.
Okay. What is next for your company?
Oh man, I've just I've just reached the pinnacle last year of becoming the global PR manager for Showtime Australia.
Wow.
So I'm now working on a lot more international productions. So for me, it's to become the South African go-to PR company for international productions and celebrities. I've already started that with celebrities that I've worked with in the US. So whenever they want to come to South Africa, I would like to be the main link that they come and target and say, hey, can you take us around and can you hook us up with media? So that's pretty much where I'm headed for 2020. More international productions with Showtime Australia and a few other ones coming in soon.
Sure. Clayton, we can go on and on and on,
Yes.
but unfortunately, we have to end it here.
Yes.
I want to thank you so much for coming through and spending time and for keeping me inspired. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity.